We're live right now,
Live.
straight from NRA in Chicago with Gyner Ozgul. Gyner, how's it going, my friend?
Good to see you.
Good to see you finally.
Yes.
It's been in the making for now, what, 3-4 years?
Yes. We've talked to each other many times ago, but finally in person in Chicago, where I live.
Chicago.
So,
Right
perfect.
now, we're in Chicago at NRA. This is day 3.
Day 3.
It's been busy. I heard you had a busy day yesterday.
Yes, very busy day yesterday. Meeting with some of our suppliers, manufacturer partners, just trying to get a lay of the land in the industry. This is the first NRA show I say feels normal since 2019.
Right. Wow. Since when? 2018?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
So what? 4 years.
Yeah, I mean we've had a few since then, but there were still some COVID implications.
Right.
A lot of hesitancy. As you can see, it's a packed house.
It's amazing, and I know there's a lot to get to catch up on, but from a field, from a service company's perspective, Gyner, as a service company where you're on that road to enabling predictive maintenance in the industry to deliver that uptime as a service, that promise of uptime as a service for the customer. How does a partnership with manufacturer? I mean, there's billions of dollars worth of transactions happening right now as we speak.
Yep.
But all of this equipment, someone has to service. It's going to break down at some point. But how do you increase that? How does the partnership between a service company and a manufacturer enable that asset life cycle maintenance or planning?
Yeah, so it starts with, our relationships with our manufacturers are to help enable outcomes to their customers, right? So their customers are the ones that, make the food for all of us to eat. So we got to make sure that experience is maintained, first and foremost, by delivering great service with properly trained technicians who understand the equipment and understand customer behavior and the intersection of the two, and they go and repair the equipment permanently. What is important for manufacturers, for us, is how do we provide differentiating value post-warranty, right? When warranty stops, typically they lose a lot of the visibility. Some of them have IoT, but some don't, and that's okay. Where we feel we can provide a competitive value for them is providing that data post-warranty and also giving them insight on how do we develop programs and partnerships long-term to increase that uptime. Now that could be planned maintenance ahead of failures. That could be them taking the feedback back up to their engineering and manufacturing process. It's a combination, but we feel really good about it. So a show like this is really important for us because all our key partners are here, and we want to spend time with them and talk about how SmartCare can provide that value.
It's fascinating, right? Data now, it's not just data on people, but data on machines is really the next revolution. Right, you have the Facebooks of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Google of the world, who collected all of this data about people and in one way or another monetized it.
Yes.
Now we're in an era where asset data is the next big wave. How do you monetize asset data? So, Gyner, as a service company, what is that journey that you went? Or you're still pretty much
on the journey.
You're still on the journey.
Yes.
So what are those initial steps that you have to think through as a executive in a service company to build your data platform and enable this promise of predictive maintenance or data-powered preventative maintenance?
So I think the first step is you got to digitize the work order, right? So our technicians, this industry for many, many years was paper and pen, clipboards. That's how they did work orders. And there's nothing wrong with that because it captured all their information. But moving them to a digital platform, and look, there's lots of them out there and they're all good, right? So this isn't about us showing that ours is better than others.
No, we're talking about first principles.
Yeah, first principles is digitize your work order. Once you digitize your work order, you got to build that back-end data infrastructure that allows your data to go into a data lake that then you can create reporting that you can bring back to the manufacturers or even your end customers and say, let me help you manage your assets. These assets are very expensive. I mean, you see the equipment here, and as it gets more connected to the internet, more digital, there's going to be more of that, need to provide that data.
Right. And that data could be also leveraged on the service side for our technicians and how we manage the field and plan our parts and all of that. So it's a multi-layer conversation. So you said first, digitize, The work order, the big D.
Yeah.
So what was that for you? And when did that journey for Smart Care started to digitize the work order? When did that vision started taking place?
So I think it was about 2016 when we got them these iPads. And look, the first 2 years, it was just a PDF that they filled out, right?
Your technicians?
Yes, because we wanted them to understand the tool itself and
Right.
feel comfortable that we're giving them an iPad.
As simple as a PDF. Look at how simple starts can be. Digitization doesn't have to be this huge, big thing. So I love it. Okay, so you started with a PDF.
Yeah, and then a few years ago in 2020, we changed our ERP platform in order to better grasp that data. We also want to integrate with many of our affiliate partners as we do acquisitions in the space. So it was important that we had a platform that could support that kind of growth. So we did that as well. So that was kind of a forward step. And now we're moving into like what I'll call, there's 3 personas of data. The first persona is how do you take that data and help your business run better? That's kind of the first place.
And run better in what aspects?
So tech efficiency, but also tech training. So both.
Okay.
So both.
Increase tech utilization and productivity.
Yeah. Look, techs are a commodity that's really important in the industry right now. That workforce is shrinking. So driving efficiency is more about leveraging your ability to be more effective with the techs you have than anything else at this point.
Data-driven field service operation.
That's right. The second persona is to the end customer. So your restaurants, your food service operations that really want to understand, I am buying a $100,000 combi. I'm going to depreciate that asset for 10 years.
And we're talking B2B here.
B2B.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Help me understand when do I cross that path where maybe repairing it doesn't make sense? And also, can you provide me repairs that keep the outages to a minimum, but maybe even extend the life of the equipment and help me gain more value? That's kind of the second persona with customers. And the third one is the tech one you talked about, right? How do we take this data and then turn it back inward and say, can we provide technicians with things like knowledge-based tools, help them do repairs more efficiently, help them do repairs more consistently, help the 2-year tech and the 20-year tech have the same access to knowledge, right? That one is further away than the first two, but it definitely exists there. We're going to run, at Smart Care this year, we'll probably run north of 500,000 work orders. So there's a lot of data there for us to glean from and actually go ahead and drive some of this change.
Right. And that's fascinating. And is there like some sort of a data partnership that happens between a service company and a manufacturer of sorts to enable that?
Well, that's why I'm here. We're starting.
Okay.
Look, this industry, as you can walk around, you can see a lot more what I'll call Internet of Things, IoT. It's a buzzword, so I'm a little careful. But there's a lot more internet connectivity because customers want that. So it's our job to help reconnect the manufacturers of their equipment in kind of a post-warranty life cycle. So we're working on that. It's what we're talking about here at the show quite a bit, as well as our service coverage. I mean, look, we're a service company that covers the lower 48 pretty well, and we have an ability to help our manufacturer partners.
I love it. I've got one last question for you before I let you go, but this question has 2 folds.
Okay.
The first fold of it, if someone is starting their journey on building their data infrastructure to enable all the 3 stages that you talked about, what are some of, I know there's no best practices because every service business is different, but what are the things to look out for as you start on that digitization of your work order life cycle? What are some of the things that they should be looking out for?
Data governance is important, right? You got to make sure that the data gets cleaned before it goes into your data warehouse, whatever that is.
And that's a team or a tool or a combination?
Combination of team and tools, right? And like the very simple version of that to articulate to the team is technicians recording a serial number for a piece of equipment, which is a really important data point if you're managing the asset.
Starting with the asset tag.
Yeah, starting with the asset tag, but a 1 and an I look very similar on a work order. Right? So we got to make sure that you have a good data governance in order to get it right.
The nuances in those, so it's really have...
Because that drives the efficacy and the accuracy of your
data
report.
accuracy, data hygiene, data governance.
That's right.
Okay, what are some of the other things to look out for?
Well, you have to be really good about what data is important to your customers. So I think it's important to talk to your customers and get their voice on what's important to them. Otherwise, a single work order can generate, we measured over 1,200 data points, right? So you can get overwhelmed with the amount of data a single work order can provide. So it's really important that you kind of shrink that footprint to the data that your customer needs and start with something smaller. That's why I said we have the 3 personas. Each of those personas represents a little bit of a bigger data set over time. And we want to start with the first one because the internal data set is smaller and manageable, and you can learn a lot about yourself and enable yourself to go faster.
I love it. So that's for you, service companies, executives of service companies who are starting out with their digital transformation journey. For those who are a little bit more mature in their digital transformation journey, what are the things that you as a service leader and service executive are looking ahead for? Trends that you're keeping your eye on and you're building your capabilities towards to progress or level up your digital maturity?
I think the biggest one on that is how IoT is going to play into our data connectivity.
In what way?
So there is equipment that we service for certain customers today that's already connected to the internet.
Right.
And provides data to the customer.
Right.
We need to make sure that somehow we can get
that same data pipeline.
Yeah, that same data pipeline for us, so that we can leverage and improve our data offering, but more importantly, our service to our customers.
Wow.
That's a lot of work.
Okay.
Easy to say in a place like this, right? But for all the Smart Care teams out there, thank you. They're doing all the work on this. So I know there's a lot of work and energy and time that goes into it.
Well, you heard it. The future is in data collaboration. So that's the Smart Care machine. The smart machines.
Yes.
What about the dumb machines? How are you going to deal with that backlog?
Yeah, I mean, the way we think about it is, I think over time, as we get into the second persona, there is a little bit of adding IoT devices to those. They exist. It's just a matter of testing and understanding what the customer need is, so you can get the right device. Just because it's right for us as a service company doesn't mean it's right for the customer.
Right.
What's their problem they're trying to solve?
Right.
Downtime, energy savings. Those are all different
desired
outcomes and different desired outcomes. So you have to make sure your devices can meet those different outcomes.
So you heard it here first. The future is in those data partnerships between manufacturers, service companies, and operators to enable the predictive maintenance promise that we're all really pushing towards. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I'm honored to have you on the show, and our partnership means a lot to me. I've learned a lot from you, and I still learn from you. I'm looking forward to be on this journey with you and change this industry together.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
God bless. Thank you, team.
Thank you, guys. Good seeing you.